United Kingdom. Boris Johnson is preparing to impose stringent new coronavirus controls on around 2.8 million people in Greater Manchester. This is after talks with local leaders failed to reach agreement. The Communities Secretary, Robert Jenrick, warning civic chiefs last night that they have until midday Tuesday to reach a deal or face what is termed unilateral government action. Correspondent Olly Barrett, good afternoon to you and welcome. We're getting closer to that deadline.
We've just passed the deadline and we have not heard from central government that measures are being imposed on Manchester. We do know that talks have been continuing behind the scenes between Downing Street and Manchester authorities. We have also just heard in the last couple of minutes from Downing Street that there will be a press conference later today from Downing Street led by Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and a couple of scientific medical advisors too, in which they plan to set out the next steps for the Manchester region. So that would lead you to believe that within a few hours from now we will know the status of Manchester, whether it's moving into those Tier 3 higher level restrictions, the highest level, very high of COVID restrictions that the UK currently, that England currently has in terms of its tiered strategy. I think there is a sense in which we are perhaps closer to agreement than we were, and so it may well be that over the coming hours we do hear that Manchester politicians have agreed to go along with this in return for some extra funding from central government. That's been one of the key sticking points here. Politicians in Manchester have been saying, look, if we're going to go into Tier 3 and see many more businesses have to close or operate in a really reduced way, then we need more funding from central government, more support than is currently on offer. So it may be that some sort of compromise is in the offing, and then at 5 p.m. UK time we'll hear from Boris Johnson that Manchester is indeed moving into Tier 3.
Staying with the COVID story, scientists, we read today, are going to launch the world's first human challenge trials for the virus. Healthy volunteers, I understand, deliberately infected with the coronavirus, and this obviously in a hope to speed things up as far as the discovery of a vaccine is concerned. Is there a great deal of excitement, I wonder, within the medical community about this?
I think certainly there is some optimism that it really could help move not just the UK but the world towards working out which vaccines may or may not be effective, speeding up that process. What happens first is that these healthy volunteers, 90 of them, would be given doses by scientists to try and work out exactly how much COVID-19 needs to be injected into them, if you like, for the infection to take hold. Once that part of the study's been carried out, then you could move to the phase where people were given doses of coronavirus and then a few weeks after that, they are given a vaccine, and therefore you can get a sense in which this can speed up the process towards successful vaccine, but also it is going to take a few weeks for this trial to work out. So once we get to that second phase, you then see people being vaccinated with one of the potential vaccines and then given a dose of COVID-19 that way round. And as I say, it does come with all sorts of ethical questions, that idea about deliberately infecting people with what can be a fatal virus. But scientists here in the UK are saying that it would only be done if ethical and safety regulations can be followed to the letter. The UK government, committing around 700 million rand to this project, certainly feels that it's a world first that is worth trying.